Welcome to the Museum of South Texas History's How to Make Your Own Cascarones workshop. Bienvenidos a todo a el taller de cómo hacer los cascarones presentado por el Museo de la Historia del Sur de Texas. Today's workshop will be a bilingual presentation, so I'll be switching back and forth between English and Spanish. And we definitely wanted to welcome everybody and let you all know a couple of updates. So for those of you watching live on the Facebook feed or the YouTube feed, you're welcome to leave questions, comments, or even your own experiences, your own memories about making cascarones and celebrating Easter with your family here in South Texas and northeastern Mexico. Si en caso están viendo en vivo en Facebook, puedes dejar sus sugerencias, sus comentarios y memorias sobre el Pascua y haciendo los cascarones con su propia familia. Now, before we get started, I want to share a couple of updates. First of all, we wanted to thank our partners at HEB, the HEB Feeding Fiestas grants. Thanks to HEB, we're able to bring this programming to you, and we are also giving out free cascaron kits here at the museum. We are open today until 5 p.m., and we'll also be here tomorrow from 10 a.m. to 5 p.m. giving out kits. You just have to come by and pick them up. Muchas gracias a nuestros amigos en HEB por los materiales para los kits de los cascarones. Todavía tenemos muchos que están aquí gratis en el museo. Pueden venir y recogerlas hoy hasta las 5 y también estaremos aquí mañana de las 10 de la mañana hasta las 5 de la tarde hasta que se nos acaban. So until supplies last, while supplies last, we'll be giving out these free kits and we're welcoming everybody to come by and visit. Now, not only are we giving out free kits, but for the whole month of April, we are observing our 50th anniversary. It's our golden anniversary, and thanks to HEB and their support, we're able to give complimentary admission to the museum. So, va a ser gratuita la admisión aquí al museo. It'll be free if you can come in with your whole family for the whole month of April. And starting next week, we will be open our regular hours, reopening from Tuesday to Sunday. Tuesday through Saturday, we're open 10 to 5, and Sundays 1 to 5. So, thank you, HEB, for all your support. And I think without further ado, let's get started with our workshop. So, ahora vamos a empezar con el taller. Now, the first thing I wanted to mention is you can come by and get the kits. If another thing I wanted to mention as well, if just in case you missed part of this programming, this will be recorded and you can watch this back on Facebook and YouTube. And you can go to our website and download a how to make your own cascarones, pretty much a worksheet. This is a how-to worksheet that we put together. We included them in the cascarones kits, but you can go to mosthistory.org/cascaron and you can find them online, download them. The great thing is not only are they in English, but they are also in Spanish. So you can read them in both ways and you can read this, watch the video, and find out how to make your own cascarones. Entonces aquí, esta página se puede encontrar en nuestra página online en mosthistory.org/cascarón. Y ahí se puede encontrar en inglés y español. Está disponible bilingüe. Okay, now let's get started. First, we wanted to list some of the materials that you'll need. If you are able to come by and pick up a kit, remember we have these free for the rest of today and tomorrow. You'll have everything you need in there. But you can make your own cascarones with a lot of materials that you have at home already. Ahora, si has venido a recoger un kit, todos los materiales que necesitan están aquí dentro, pero también se pueden hacer los cascarones con cosas que se encuentran en la casa. You definitely need eggshells. And when you prep these eggshells, you want to break them a certain way. You usually just want to break them at the very bottom of it. So usually an egg has a top, a piquito, right, up on top, and a bottom. You can do this a couple of different ways. With the fork, you just break it there very carefully. I've used a needle. And you can scramble the eggs on the inside and make it easier to get them out. And you gather these for enough time, you get a lot of them, and you can have them ready for Easter. Ahora, se tienen que preparar las cáscaras y se tienen que quebrar con un hueco en un lado del extremo. No en la parte de arriba, pero en la parte de abajo. Es un poco más fácil. Se puede hacer el hueco con un tenedor, hasta con una aguja, y así se puede sacar lo de adentro del huevo. Now, these should also be washed. In order to be sterilized and clean, ready to be used, You can soak these in a solution of warm water and bleach, or even warm water and soap. Let them soak for about an hour, and then you can dry them outside in the sun or over a towel. Ahora, se deben de limpiar. Se deben de limpiar y sanitar con una solución de cloro y agua tibia, o también se puede usar jabón y agua. Eso es importante para que nadie se enferma. So, once you have those ready, then you'll need some supplies to color them. Usually, cascarones are colorful, they're bright. Y aquí tenemos unos completos. We have some complete ones right here that are already made. So as you can see, there are some very nice heart designs on those, very colorful. And this is important, that way if you have an Easter egg hunt, they're a little bit easier to find. Entonces, deben de tener mucho color, y esa es la parte divertido para los niños también. So you can do this a couple of different ways. In our kit, we have some markers from H-E-B, so I'll be using those to demonstrate today. But you can also use finger paints, you can use acrylic paints, anything that adds color, even food coloring. Food dye, if you dip them in there, that will color the shell. So se puede usar muchas diferentes cosas, incluyendo marcadores, pinturas, o hasta color de comida. Se puede, you can dip it in y ahí sale el color. Now, what I like to do, especially for kids, is with a finger, you can put a finger in the hole right there on the egg, and with your hand that you draw with, I'm going to use some green to start. I can start drawing right here on the cáscara. Now the markers are nice because you can get a lot of detail in there. So I'm going to kind of turn this way. I'm kind of drawing just something, I don't know, just really different stuff. I'm putting some color across. Maybe you want to do some dots in there. Paints are very nice because you can cover a lot of surface area very quickly. The only bad thing about paints is that you have to let them dry. Entonces, esa es la parte divertida más para los niños, pintar las cáscaras. Y puedes poner cualquier diseño. Ese diseño estoy poniendo polka dots, pero también puedes poner mucho más con cualquier imaginación y con sus pinturas, así salen su diseño. So that's one of them, just to get you started. The next step is going to be filling them with the confetti. And we use a couple of different options. Aquí usamos dos opciones. Also another tip, it's very nice to use a cone, because if you want to fill this, you just make a cone out of paper. Aquí es un cono hecho de papel, y ahí en el hueco se pone, and it makes it a lot easier to fill that up. Now, we traditionally use confetti, and this is very nice because it's biodegradable. If you have it outside in your yard, you'll have a little bit of color, but then in a couple days with the first rain, it'll go away. We also here at the museum have been using bird seed, and bird seed, oops, spilled a little bit there. Bird seed is very nice because the animals will eat it up pretty much. If you break them in your backyard, the animals back there will be happy, they'll have a little meal, and you won't have much of a mess in your backyard. Ahora, para el medio ambiente y los animales, se pueden usar semilla de pájaro o también el confetti. So today, I'm going to use a little bit of birdseed. And I have my big tray. I'm going to put it right into my cone. Y ahí se oyó como se llenó. And another little tip. This is a very cool tip that I didn't really learn for a while. But so that you don't use a whole lot of your filling, and also so that this kind of pops and has an explosion effect, you want to only fill your shells about a quarter of the way. Solo quieres llenar las cáscaras como un cuarto lleno, porque con las quiebras quieren que sea como una explosión. The air pocket in there kind of helps it pop a little bit more. También, si los rellenas hasta arriba, se va a usar el rellenado muy rápido. If you fill them all the way to the top, you're going to run out of filling very, very quickly. We've noticed that too. So, once you have your cáscara filled, you have your bird seed in there, the next part, we are going to be closing the bottom. In order to keep this from falling out, we need to put, so these are stuck together, let me grab another one. We need to put a piece of papel de seda right over top, or this tissue paper. Usually, it's very nice to prep these first and get them cut into squares. Quieres preparar unos cuadros, and this can be about 2 inches by 2 inches, 2 pulgadas por 2 pulgadas, solo suficiente para cubrirlo de abajo. You just want enough to cover the bottom part. Now you can buy the big sheets, and I'm just gonna give you all one more tip, but I also like buying these rolls because they're almost at the size that you need. So let's say I just need one, I cut a piece off and I'm ready to go. So once you have your piece ready to put on the bottom, you just wanna make sure it's big enough to cover. Así, suficiente para cubrir. And then you are gonna get your glue. So with your glue, you can do this a couple of ways. I like putting this sometimes in a tray and using a paintbrush, and you can usually brush it right around the edges and put your paper on top, or you can even put a little bit of glue on the edge of the paper and then put the paper directly on top. Either way, sometimes it gets messy, so adults, it's good to have supervision at this step, or even do this part for your kids. So using my glue, I'm just gonna put a little rim all the way around the hole. Con el pegamento, lo voy a cubrir por todo el hueco. Put my paper on top. Con el papel de seda por de arriba. It'll be a little bit messy. I got some of my fingers, but there you go. As long as you have it closed on the bottom, and I didn't quite close it, you see it's open here. You gotta make sure it's a little bit better. Close on the bottom, you are ready to go. Add that to your basket, and you're ready for your cascarón kit. Now, I wanted to give one more tip. This is a really good tip for drying your eggs. Let's say you paint a lot of them and you use an acrylic paint. Si, por ejemplo, tienes muchos de estas cáscaras, you have a lot of these, you're trying to make a lot of them, and you have an acrylic paint que tiene que secar, you can use one of these thread spool holders to dry them off. It's very, very convenient. You can keep them spaced apart, and you don't make as much of a mess. Es algo muy conveniente para tener si en caso si estás haciendo muchas de las cáscaras. Okay, con eso, we wanted to remind everybody, first of all, thank you all for watching. We hope that you have a great weekend with those that you love closest to you and you get to share this tradition with them. We also wanted to remind you all that we do still have a lot of free cascarón kits. So if you all are available to come by the museum, we're open until 5 p.m., giving these out for free. No purchase necessary. Come on by and pick them up. We'll also be here tomorrow from 10 a.m. to 5 p.m. while supplies last. So si en caso, si no tienes materiales para hacer los cáscaras en casa, puedes venir al museo y tenemos los kits de H-E-B gratis el resto de hoy hasta las 5 y también mañana de las 10 hasta las 5. We're also having free admission for the whole month of April. We welcome everybody to come by, invite your friends, your family, and we hope to see you here. So with that being said, thank you all very much for joining us today, and we'll see you next time. Gracias a todos.